I used to think NPC was just another random Gen Z word like Riz or Aura or Bruh, but then Dad discovered it, and everything went downhill. It started one evening when Dad was scrolling on his phone. Suddenly he froze. Then he adjusted his glasses, which is always a bad sign. Dad, what happened? No answer. He was staring at the screen like he had discovered a government secret. Then he slowly looked up and said, Beta, what is an NPC? The moment I heard those words, I knew my peaceful life was over. I tried explaining. An NPC is basically someone who acts predictable, like a background character in a video game. Simple, easy, normal. But Dad didn't hear any of that. His eyes lit up. That dangerous sparkle appeared. The investigation had begun. Within minutes, Dad had a notebook, a pen, and way too much confidence. He wrote NPC at the top of the page, underlined it 3 times, then started looking around the house, studying everyone, Mom, me, the dog, the furniture. Nothing was safe. The next morning, Dad woke up with a mission. Every person he saw became a suspect. The security guard, the milkman, the vegetable vendor, even the guy who delivers parcels. Dad had questions, lots of questions. The security guard said good morning. Dad wrote something down, and the milkman arrived at the same time as always. Dad wrote more notes. A delivery guy smiled, more notes. By lunch, Dad had already filled several pages. By dinner, he had reached a conclusion. According to Dad, NPCs were everywhere. Mom tried to stop him. I tried to stop him. Nobody listened. The next day, things got worse. Dad upgraded the investigation. He created what he called the NPC detection system. It was a giant board with photos, notes, arrows, circles, and absolutely no logic. Dad stood proudly in front of it, like he had solved the biggest mystery in human history, and that's when we realized this wasn't ending anytime soon. The NPC detection system was officially active, and unfortunately, Dad was in charge. The first victim was Mom. Dad sat her down for questioning, notebook ready, serious face activated. Mom looked annoyed before the interview even started. Dad asked things like, "What time do you drink chai? Why do you drink chai? Would an NPC drink chai?" Mom stared at him. I stared at him. Even Dad's notebook looked embarrassed. After 10 minutes, Dad reached a conclusion. Mom was a possible NPC. Mom was not impressed. Then Dad turned toward me. I immediately knew my turn had arrived. This was unfair. Dad started asking questions about school, homework, my routine, my hobbies. Apparently, having a schedule was now suspicious. I tried defending myself. It didn't help. According to Dad, everyone was acting like an NPC. Nobody was safe. Not relatives, not neighbors, not delivery drivers, not random people in elevators. Dad interviewed everybody. The man delivering groceries, the guy repairing the internet, even people who clearly wanted to escape. The investigation had become a public problem, but while Dad was busy investigating everyone else, Mom was quietly watching him, and that's when everything changed. Mom started taking notes, secret notes, dangerous notes, evidence notes. She noticed something interesting. Dad sat in the same chair every day, drank the same chai every day, watched the same news every day, wore the same slippers every day, and repeated the same jokes every day. Mom smiled. The scary smile, the smile that means somebody is about to get exposed. She created her own notebook, collected evidence, took photos, made observations, and by the end of the week, Mom had built a case, a very strong case. Then one evening she stood up, pointed directly at Dad, and said, "I think you are the NPC." The entire room went silent. Dad froze. I froze. Even the NPC manual looked shocked. And that's when the trial began. The trial started the very next day. Dad arrived confident, notebook in hand, main character energy. Mom arrived carrying an evidence folder, villain energy. I immediately grabbed popcorn. This was going to be good. Mom presented Exhibit A, photos of Dad sitting in the exact same chair. Every day, same position, same expression. Dad stopped smiling. Then came Exhibit B, the chai evidence. Same cup, same chai, same routine every single day. Dad looked nervous. Exhibit C was even worse. Recordings of Dad telling the exact same joke at different family functions. Nobody could believe it. Actually, everybody could. Then the witnesses arrived. First came the security guard. He confirmed everything. Then came the milkman. He confirmed even more. At this point, Dad looked like he wanted to disappear. Mom revealed the final evidence board. Photos, arrows, charts, patterns. The whole thing looked insane, and somehow it all pointed to Dad. Finally, it was time to vote. Mom voted Dad. I voted Dad. The witnesses voted Dad. The verdict was unanimous. Dad was officially declared NPC of the year. Mom placed a paper crown on his head. It said NPC King. I laughed so hard I nearly fell off my chair. Dad demanded a recount. Denied. He demanded another recount. Also denied. Eventually, the chaos ended. The investigation was over. Peace returned for about 5 minutes. Then Dad's phone buzzed. Once, twice. Dad looked down and froze. That smile appeared again. The dangerous smile. The smile that creates new problems. Mom leaned closer. I leaned closer. Dad turned the phone around. The screen said, "What is Delulu?" Then another video. "Signs your Delulu." Then another. Delulu explained. Dad gasped. Mom gasped. I screamed. Because somehow, after surviving NPC, we were about to do this all over again. To be continued.